think the professors there, they're quite knowledgeable and amicable. So it's like you actually want to read up to them and, not passively sit in the lecture hall. And I think there were just so many range of subjects that were there, and they give hands-on experiences. So I'm doing politics. So within my course, I have an option to, do an internship with the Australian Parliament. So that's really exciting. And then beyond academics, you can be, part of the student union, and there are many clubs and events also that I've been a part of. And I think
Mhm.
whatever I've done in my first year, it has definitely added not only to my resume, but also to my personality and the skill set that I have. And the whole journey, it has been really exciting with lots of ups and downs.
That's nice. That's nice. May I ask, why did you choose the University of Melbourne?
Um, First thing would be that I think it has excellent academics. The university is also highly ranked, and it's not only highly ranked in academics and extracurriculars, but it also has a great employability rate, which was significantly more than other universities. And I also found the perfect blend of subjects: politics, economics, international studies, all together mixed in one degree. And I think there are a lot of opportunities at this university and resources that I can make use of. So these are some of the factors that I weighed in. And my score in while choosing the university.
Okay. So you took the scholarship you've got is from the university itself.
Yes, so I'm a recipient of the Melbourne International Undergraduate
Okay.
Scholarship. It provides me 100% fee remission for 3 years. So I only have to pay for my living expenses there. And I was granted that based on my academics.
Okay, that's very good. Uh,
Really
Talking
humble.
about
I must intervene. She's very humble. And she's got a 100% scholarship in one of the top ranking universities in the world. And I distinctly remember that she had got multiple such scholarships from every university that she applied to, 100,000 or 125,000 odd in Toronto, UBC. So she's brilliant. She worked very hard to achieve what she's achieved.
Thanks to the pro team, ma'am. I was completely aimless, and you all like held me through it. I remember Namrita ma'am sitting through like numerous sessions, helping me with community projects and like all of it. Like it's really a big thanks to the whole team.
Thank you for your
that's
kind
very kind
words, but
of you.
it's your hard work, Tanvi, really.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
So how do you like the campus?
The campus is really beautiful. It has old infrastructure, new infrastructure. The old infrastructure is like whenever you walk into it, it feels like you're going into Hogwarts, and it's all just very lively. You have cafes, restaurants on
Uh,
campus, and there are like many events going on, barbecues, and like it's just a really good place to be in. The campus is also quite scattered, so you can walk around the campus and have a good feel and work and everything. It's really good.
that's nice. So just like an extension on that, how different do you think the education system is there as compared to the one you had in India?
Um, I don't think I can comment much on that because I don't have the undergraduate
You came
experience
in for your
of being in India. Yeah. And I think the curriculum in high school, it is like really, really different from what you have in colleges and universities. But from what
Mhm.
heard from my friends who are studying in India, I think that you get more hands-on experiences, and the study is more practical in Melbourne as compared to India, I think. So like you get internships in like I said, you can get an internship in public policy just while being in your course. And
Mhm.
we touch on like recent topics like the Ukraine Russia war and just things like that, just basic things.
Okay. And I mean, would you say your curriculum is very rigorous? I mean, is it quite tedious?
I wouldn't really use the word tedious, but I think it's quite demanding.
Mhm.
But if you put the right effort at the right time, then you can definitely crack it. You might have to pull all-nighters if you slip, and I've slipped myself many times, but it's quite manageable, the workload. But I've just completed my first year, and I don't know what's coming up, but till now it was quite manageable.
And may I ask, what's the student faculty ratio over there? I mean, how
I'm
big
not
is your class? And
I'm not so sure of the exact number, but I would like to point out that there are two types of classes that we have for each subject. So first, we have a lecture, in which you have like a huge lecture hall, and there are many students listening to just one professor. And then you
Mhm.
have tutorials, in which you have 10 to 15 students per tutor, in which you reflect on the stuff you study in lectures, and you get homework, and you can ask your doubts to the tutor, and you get more attention in that.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, is there like a facility there within your campus, like a computer room, or like maybe a library where you can work till late?
Yes, there are many libraries on campus, and they have computer facilities. They have project rooms where you can, have study groups, and they have whiteboards. They have
Mhm.
like a lot of resources that you can make use of till late
Mhm.
night. But I don't think there is anything that's like an overnight resource. And but the student union is still fighting for it, for the students who live far away from campus, so that they can, use the resources overnight as well.
Okay, all right. Okay. And how's the support system over there for international students? Do you have any societies or clubs?
Yes, there is in fact a really huge body for international students. It's AMSU International. So it works for international students, and it is composed of international students as well. And the executive positions within it are paid as well. So
Mhm.
they organize events, workshops, mental health week, and many peer mentor support groups. And we also like celebrate Diwali, Holi, everything.
Mhm. That's nice. And so now that you've had your first year of experience as an undergraduate, would you recommend it to future students?
Yes, I would definitely recommend it because once you go like outside of your comfort zone, because in India, I didn't even know how to go to a bank and do my, and I had to go with my dad for just the basic things. But now that I've gone outside, I've learned a lot of things that are like quite important to know. And also,
Mhm.
I think that the extracurriculars that I've participated in, those have really helped me.
Oh, okay, all right. And there is a question in the chat box actually. One Dishita wants to know. Dishita wants to know how much did you score in your 10th?
I score
If you're not comfortable, you don't have to.
No, that's okay. I scored 97%.
Okay. So I hope that's answered your question, Dishita. All right. Another thing I want you to know is during your application process for your for the bachelor's, do you what did you do? Like, do you have any specific tips for maybe the application process itself or for the essays?
So answering the question on what I did, I started in grade 11 itself, and I still think I was a bit late to start. So the only tip is to start as soon as you can. And also to build on to not to like focus on quality over quantity. So it's not about how many things you have on there, but it's just like the quality of the activity you have on there. So if you have like a sport on there, then maybe focus more on it and take it to like a big scale, a huge level, maybe national or international. Just work on the thing you have there. And a tip for essays would just be that don't sound so formal in your essays, and just write it for the sake of it. So the ProEd
Mhm.
team, they'll give you editors, the counselors will be with you to help you brainstorm. But at the end of the day, it's on you, whatever you reflect on, or whatever life experiences you want to put in your essays and how you relate it to your studies. Everything depends on you. So just by putting in some good English words, you won't crack it. You just have to reflect on your own thoughts and journey.
Oh, that's very insightful. Thank you. Tanveen, we have a question from one of the participants, Navya Agarwal. She's asking about part-time work prospects. So did you do any part-time job while you were studying?
Yes. So I was doing part-time jobs to take out even my living expenses so that I don't have to ask my parents for anything. So finding a part-time job is quite easy. It's just that you have to go a little bit outside your comfort zone. So when you don't have anything like on your resume, so if you haven't worked anywhere, it's a bit difficult when you apply online. So I was
Mhm.
applying online everywhere and I wasn't getting a reply back. So what I did was I just printed my resume and went into shops and just physically gave in my resume and just, talked to the manager. And then I was able to get a good job in a streetwear clothing showroom. So you just have to go outside your comfort zone and, just seek for jobs, not just wait for it to come to you.
And how much do you get paid for an hour, Tanvi?
It's in Australia, it's actually based on your age. So so right now I'm getting paid $25 per hour on the weekdays, and on the weekends it's 30.
So how much are you able to save? Like, are you able to eke out your living expenses from this?
Yes, yes, I am able to, and I'm able to save as well.
And does this leave you enough time to study? Are you able to balance both work and
Yes, yes. So like I mostly work on the weekends, when the university is closed. So I'm able to make out a balance with it.
great?
And then that also leaves you time for like socializing, going out with your friends and all.
Yes, yes. So like I've kept like throughout the day, in the morning I have my classes, then in the afternoon I have the extracurriculars, and then in the evening and night I have the socializing time. So I have it all settled like that.
It's very organized of you.
I slip a lot of times.
That's allowed. You're still very young. Okay, I mean, Navya also wants to know how many hours do you work for?
So on the weekends I work for 8 hours, and whenever I have
In a
time,
day or
yeah, in a day, in a
in the
day.
whole weekend? Okay, all right. That's good. That's good. Also, she she wants to know what would you like to pursue after your graduation in economics? Would you like to study further or would you like to work straight
So
away?
I would like to gain some work experience first, and then I've planned to like work for a year or two, and then I would apply for my master's in the US or the UK. So that's what
Okay,
I've
and you're looking to work in either in Australia or you come back to India to work
in Australia.
in Australia.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. Okay, another thing to ask you is, are you living on campus or outside campus?
So I'm living quite near to campus in a student accommodation. So the concept is quite similar to living on campus, but the
Mhm.
but the difference is that within your building we'll have students from other universities as well. But if anyone is looking for accommodation, so my only advice would be that for the first year or the first semester, you should either live on campus or at a good student accommodation which is near campus, because it helps you set a routine, and it also helps you build good networks and connections.
Okay, and then how how much later after you got an offer from Melbourne University did you start looking for an accommodation? Did you start looking before or after?
I started after I got my offer. Um, I think you'll get plenty of options. There are many good student accommodations and apartments here. So there's no rush, but you definitely should start looking out as soon as you receive your offer and,
The
just balance
offer.
out your options. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. And just to ask you, what is the situation with medical facilities there? How's the help for medical?
Within the university, they have excellent services. They have counseling, they have psychological department, they have dental, and like everything. So they also like have many programs and events. like the mental health week and all. But for like Australia and like Melbourne, I don't, the emergency services, they're really bad. So like one of my friends, he fractured his nose and then he had to sit in the emergency department for like 5 hours to just get a bed. So I would say that they're okay within Melbourne, but like for the university, it's quite good.
All right, that's good. And obviously, all students, even though you're not living in the university, can avail the medical facilities, right?
Yeah, only the students at the university.
No, no, I meant all students, right? I mean, the ones who are living
Yeah, yeah.
outside also.
Sorry,
Okay, all
sorry, I
right.
didn't get your question. Sorry.
That's fine.
Come
That's
again.
fine. Okay. So I was going to ask you about food. How easy have you found it to find what you like eating?
I think food is only a problem if you make it. So if you're not like going out for like daily grocery runs or you're not cooking food yourself, then it can be quite a problem. But if you have basic cooking skills, then you can easily manage it around. And like for dining out, you have many good vegetarian and vegan options as well. So that has never been a problem for me.
Okay, that's good. All right. Tell me one last question. So
Yeah.
what do you miss the most about India?
I definitely miss the food and and maybe a feeling of belongingness. It's not that Melbourne is not welcoming or not warm. The people are really good there, but it's just that it's a different feeling of belongingness when I'm in India. I just miss that feeling sometimes.
You've made friends over there?
Yeah, yeah, I have a lot of friends there.
Are they mostly from India or it's a big
Yeah, they're
mix?
mostly Indians.
Okay, okay. All right. All right. When I'm finished with a round of questions, thank you for answering them to me. If the floor's open now, if anyone would like to ask the questions, please.
Is there discrimination there? I was recently asked by a parent, what is the level of discrimination in Australia? Uh,
I don't think, ma'am, it's that extreme, but there's definitely passive discrimination. So I have like Australian students come up to me and say that your English is too good for an international student. So like there's passive discrimination, but not extreme. And also the university has a zero tolerance policy regarding this. So there are definitely a lot of resources. So you'll just come across maybe some passive, but not like straight extreme to your face.
okay.
Like that's from my experience.
Yeah, you don't feel get those vibes from professors or faculty or admin staff in the
No, no,
university,
no, no, not at all.
not at all.
In fact, the faculty is also like, I think they're not mostly domestic. Like it has, like the university has a good international faculty.
So these internships that you were talking about, Tanveen, they are woven into the fabric of the course, or do you have to look out for
Yeah,
them?
they're part of the course. So basically, when you get into your third year, you can apply for these internships, but they only accept like 30 students from the whole batch. So it's quite
Okay.
competitive, but it's like within the course, you get a chance to do that. There are credit points for these internships.
And the campus that you're talking about, so is it like, do you have everything within one campus, or is it like very scattered and it's huge and you need a bicycle to, you know, uh, go
Um,
through the
it
place?
is quite huge. A bicycle would be a really good option. It is scattered also, but it's not that scattered that that it's real. The buildings are quite far off. You can walk to the buildings, but it would be like a 15-minute walk.
So you have to plan your day and your classes if you want to weave in and
Yes.
out of. Okay. So if you have one class here and one class there, so are you like running from pillar to
Uh,
post at some point?
there's usually a 10-minute gap before they start and a 10-minute like buffer they give you between classes. So
Okay,
it's quite manageable, yeah.
manageable. Okay. And you have enough eating joints when you're, like, say, suppose you don't carry your lunch with you
Yes, yes. There are plenty of cafes and restaurants on campus.
on campus. Okay. And what about like the quality of the faculty, the professors? I mean, are they the professors are teaching themselves, or do they have teaching assistants or research assistants who are teaching?
No, the professors, they themselves take the They
Classes.
themselves take the lectures, and then we have tutors who take the tutorials.
So the
So
tutors are
they're
also
like,
professors?
no, they're not the professors.
They're students, senior students.
Some of them are senior students, some of them are not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the ones who are not, I mean, what are they like? Do they have like a administrative position in the university?
I am not so sure about that, but maybe they're also hired, as assistants, teaching assistants. So maybe.
Okay. There's a question here from Dishita. Tanveen, she wants to know how many students are there in a batch.
Not so sure about. There's not like a specific batch, it's like a whole new lot of students that come for like 2023 session, like every person who gets into the university.
Okay, okay.
Sorry.
Just let me check. There's some problem.
Hello. Yeah, may I ask you? Yeah. Can you hear me, Tanveen?
Yes, yes. Now
Am
I
I
can.
audible?
Yes.
Hello.
I can
Pratibha,
hear
you could
you.
type your
Can you hear
question
me? This is
in the chat.
I'm Pratibha. Hi, experience. Okay, okay.
So there's another question from Navya. She said, what kind of a part-time job are you pursuing? As in something related to what you're studying or a random job?
For now, it's a random job, but in year two or year three, you can actually look for jobs that are related to your stream. But in first year, there are not much options for that.
Okay. Pratibha, you can type your question because your voice was getting cut in the chat. And what's the weather like? How did you cope with the climate there?
The weather is so unpredictable. It's like it'll be raining in the morning and then it'll get, sunny, and then at night you'll need a puffer jacket for the wind. It's
Mhm.
really, really unpredictable.
Which means you need to carry an umbrella and a jacket to college?
Yeah, I usually do that.
Okay. Okay. Pratibha has a question. She's saying, how many days in a week do you go to the campus?
Um, uh, for my classes, I have my classes spread out on 3 days, but it's completely on you. You can have like a 5 day class, 5 days. You can have classes on 5 days as well, or on 3 days, or on two. Like that's completely on you. You choose your timetable. For me, it's
So, but
3 days in a week.
yeah, but then like most of the students, they do like this, like they go like food, even they can choose to go for 2 days a week. But then do you really get a sense of campus life there? Because usually like, in Indian universities, like, for students, it's every day they are going, every day it's more about studies and together time they spend because this, the same kind of a group is together. So for you, do you feel like, you have a group of people who are always together, and if you are going 3 days and then what for like rest 4 of the days you are on your own or you're doing a job. So isn't it feel more like a working life than a kind of a college life?
I think it's more about establishing a balance. So, like, I have classes on 3 days. The rest of the 2 days, I'm involved in clubs or events at the campus itself. And you usually have different people that you hang out with. So, some of them are, maybe from the same lecture, from the same tutorial, and maybe you're in the same club. So, you definitely get a good feel of campus life there. And I think that it's more like comprehensive abroad than in India, because you're on your own and you set your own timetable, and it's not like the campus closes at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. You can have events at 9 p.m. also, like, so it's not restricted.
But it's like the student really have to be very kind of, self-driven because
Yeah.
it's a lot of
Yes.
self-management. It's like nobody's telling you to do this thing or that thing. It's like, you have to create your own balance and your own timetable and stick to it. It's like, it's a very self-driven thing, right?
Yes, that's really
Yeah.
really important. If you don't get involved, then no one is going to
Yeah.
ask you.
You.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you are enjoying the course you are doing, the economics part of it. Are you
Yeah.
enjoying the course you have taken?
Yes, it's really good. So right now, in year one,
Mm-hmm.
I have only taken 2 introductory courses, which were actually quite similar to what I was studying in grade 12. So it was actually a quite smooth transition. Now in year two and year three, I will be able to, select courses that I'm really intrigued in that are not introductory and the aspects that I really want to study about economics. So I'm really looking forward to my second year.
One last question from me, Tanveer. So have you seen what are the prospects of getting a job in, Australia post economics, a degree with economics? And what are your prospects of getting PR via this course? Is it like, is there a lot of scope of uh, how's the job scene like after doing this course, your graduation?
Um, I can tell you about like how the university might help you get jobs. I'm not so sure about the job scene, and I have never looked into the PR because I am not aiming to get a PR in Melbourne. So unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to help you in that. But the university, they have like many resources. So they have a smart resume tool where you can, build resume in real time and get insights from professionals in your field. And there's also a search engine where you can apply for jobs like from the portal itself. And I think there are whenever you're studying economics, so you get like many transferable skills which you can use in consultancy, in government, and like in many aspects, in almost in investments firm and anywhere. So yeah, I'm sorry I wouldn't be able to answer your question so much because I haven't looked into it
No,
much.
no, you have been. No, no, yeah, it's helpful. It's helpful whatever you're sharing much.
Right, Tanveen, there's a question from Navya Agarwal. It's regarding what Miss Dogra was saying right now. She's asking, so what do you do on the other weekdays when you're free from classes?
As I told you, I'm part of many clubs on campus. So I'm part of the Bollywood Club. I'm part of Women in Economics, Economic Student Society. I'm part of like 5, 6 clubs, and we usually have events on campus. So I usually go off to their meetings, or whenever there's an event on campus, and I'm there at the stall, or interacting with students. Recently, recently I was chosen as a student mentor as well. So I have to arrange groups of students and, have them look around the campus and give them advice. So, there are many activities that you can choose from whenever you're not in the class.
Okay. Just to ask, is any credits you get for being for participating in these clubs and all? Is just for like self-development,
I think
networking?
no, there are no, some of them do have credits, but most of them don't. But I think it's really important that you're involved in these things because they help you make great connections. And as you said, it really adds on to your personality, and it would obviously help you if you're thinking of further studies to build
Okay.
your portfolio. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
So Tanveen, when you say that you're not looking at PR in Australia, so you plan to come back to India after your graduation?
I'm sorry, your voice was cracking, so I couldn't really get the question. The part that I
Sorry, can
heard
you hear
was,
me now?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like do you You are not looking at PR in Australia, so the plan is to come back to India after graduation?
No, I actually plan to work in Australia itself for maybe a year or two, and then I plan to go to apply to the US or UK for my master's.
Okay, great. That's great. Good. So how many Indian students are there, like the percentage of Indian students in your university? I mean, you get to see enough Indian faces.
I wouldn't exactly be able to give you a number, but there are a lot of Indian students that you see on campus, like a lot. Like it's a tight-knit community, so you go to the same events, you definitely join an Indian club, so you meet a lot of people.
Hmm. Okay.
And why did you choose to hang out with Indians, Tanveen, and not socialize beyond your own community?
I did socialize beyond my own community, but it was usually through university clubs. But whenever I'm on my own, I prefer to be surrounded by Indian friends because I think it's just a feeling of home that I get from them. And I feel like it's very important to, find whatever you're comfortable in. And I think they're quite supportive.
You face Do you feel there is a wall between you and the other the local students? I mean, do they also hang out with people of their own community?
Not really. Like, I do hang out with them, but I prefer hanging out with my Indian friends. There's no such wall. It's just that, you're from the same place, you have the same interests, and you go, like, you have same likings and all. So it's just more comfortable that way for
So
me.
it's the
But
comfort factor.
I've had friends who are completely vice versa and they don't have any Indian friends at all. I've seen people like that too. So it just depends on you, whatever you're comfortable in.
Do you also have a lot of Chinese other than Indians? What are the other communities there besides
Yes,
the local Australians?
yes, there.
And do you have people from other countries in the world like US, UK?
Yes, yes. So I would definitely say that Melbourne is quite multicultural. So you don't only meet people from different backgrounds, but you also like get to practice their cultures and see different cultures around you. So within Melbourne, you'll see people from various distinct backgrounds.
Okay, that's interesting. Because that's part of your education, the multicultural diversity and the exposure to different people is very critical part of your uh,
Yeah,
exposure.
definitely.
And you have to write a lot of like long assignments, lot of long research paper kind of
Yes.
audit documents.
Yes, I think that was the biggest transition that I had from high school because I had no idea what referencing was. And the idea of writing an essay in my head was just so different from what is expected at universities. So I definitely struggled a lot with that. But there are like many resources that you can use, and the professors, they're like quite helpful in your first semester. So I was able to cope up real quick, but it was definitely a big challenge.
Okay. But you picked it up fast because most students have a difficult time in this area.
Yes, it's quite difficult. The way of
May I,
writing and all.
may I know which board you did your grade 12 from?
PPSC,
Yeah, which school was it?
KR Mangalam.
Great. Okay.
Then there's a question from Rasika Anand. She would like to ask you why you've chosen Australia, not US or UK for your undergraduation.
Um, I applied to UK and I got into many universities. I didn't want to apply to US for my undergrad, because I had it in my mind that I want to go there for postgrad. Because and I also wanted to, explore other countries as well. I had Canada in mind also. But I think Melbourne was a great place to be. It's also a safe city. It's one of the safest cities. So like my parents were also willing to send me there. Also the multicultural thing, you get like people from a lot of cultures there. Also, I think all of the students are just rushing to UK, US, Canada. So I think Australia was something a bit off the chart. And again, one of the most weighing options that was my scholarship itself.
Okay, all right. And I don't know if you would know about this. What is the work visa rules in Australia and the job market for Indians?
So after you do your bachelor's degree, after you finish it, you just have 2 months to like come back to your country. So at that time you get a bridging visa from the Australian government. So some of my friends also got it. So a bridging visa is basically time where you can decide if you want to go back, if you want to be here, if you want to search for jobs. So my friend, he searched for a job and then you have to apply for another visa there for work rights and all. I wouldn't be able to comment much on the jobs there for as of now.
Do you know if
Basically,
there's
you get
any
a post-study work permit on completion of your course, where you're allowed to stay and work for a certain duration in Australia, and during that duration, you can
Uh,
work.
sorry, ma'am.
It's called the post-study work permit,
Yeah,
Tanveen.
yeah. You
So
have to apply for that
yeah,
permit, and if
yeah,
you don't have that permit, then the Australian government will like give you a bridging visa for the time you have to apply for it and arrange for it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you have any idea about the job scenarios? That was the second question that she asked.
No, I'm so sorry.
There's something called a skilled occupation category list. It's called the SOL list. If you go to the list, it explains very clearly, item wise, which are the occupations which are in demand in Australia. For example, accounting and finance is in demand, IT is in demand, engineers are in demand. So those are the areas in which there is a huge supply of jobs and very little um, uh, very little workers who can apply themselves to those jobs. So if you do a course in one of the SOL areas, you'll be most likely you'll be like absorbed by the system. It won't be an issue. Plus, it'll even PR becomes easier. So if you're looking at work, if working in Australia is very important to you, then definitely look at the SOL list before you apply.
there was a question from Karthik Rana. He wanted to know more about the MIM course in Australia.
I don't think, Tanveen, do you have any idea about the MIM?
No, ma'am, not at
So,
all.
Karthik, MIM is a good course, but doing it in Australia is not worth its while because MIM does not come under the SOL list. Management is not one of the programs in the SOL list. So, getting a job or a PR will be difficult in case you are aiming for a PR. It's better to apply for an engineering or an IT or an accounting and finance program because then getting your post study work permit and PR will be far easier because those are the categories in the SOL list. Management, unfortunately, is not. A lot of students who go from India to Australia for an MIM or an MBA, when they reach Australia and they understand this thing, they change their course. Are there any other questions, Manisha?
Not as of now, Aditi.
Okay. Does anybody else in the audience have any more questions that they'd like to get addressed by Tanveen? Any words of advice on time management, scheduling, procrastination, Tanveen? Because some of the critical skills there are time management, cooking, and organizing yourself. You need to be very organized to live a very productive, balanced life there.
Yeah, definitely. I do have some stupid maybe tips or like general tips. So first thing is never pair up with your friends as your roommates because I've had huge fights due to that. So never pair up with your friends like whenever you're looking for roommates and have basic cooking skills from India. Learn like anything, maybe pasta. That's the best go-to option here. And also yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay. You think those are the two very important things that you've figured out?
Yeah, like, in general life. And organizing and all, it's all on you, like how you do it. You'll make mistakes and then you'll learn yourself, like whatever best suits your routine. So it's all about experiencing that first and then you get to know about it.
And the accommodation that you live in, Tanveen, how is it? Is it like 4 rooms, 4 bathrooms, one common kitchen, lounge? What is this
Yes,
actually?
so earlier, so when I came to Melbourne, I chose a six-bedroom apartment. So the kitchen was shared and rest, like I had my own bathroom. But then I shifted to a studio where I was living alone. So like basically the idea was that I would make friends in my first semester and then I shifted to my own studio so I can live according to my own routine.
Okay. So now you
Yeah.
find the studio more comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. And did that stint with 6 other people help you settle down better?
It kind of did, but it did not as well. It had its perks. Like I made friends. I was so new to the place. I didn't have any relatives, so it was good to have, five other people living with me. But gradually, I realized that I wanted my own space now. So I think the decision to move out was also good, but to opt for a six bed when I was so new to the country was also a good option.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And you didn't have like a 1 year contract, so you were able to move out after the
Uh,
first month.
I opted a 6 months contract.
Okay, that was a smart thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise I would have been bounded.
Yeah. And like how far or close, I mean, like where is your college located? Do you travel to the city or is it in the city?
Um, I've always been very, very close to campus, so my classes are usually 3 to 4 minutes like away.
Okay, okay. And
Yeah.
what about the city of Melbourne? How easy or difficult is it to explore the city with your whole hectic college schedule?
It's actually very, very easy. The public transport is really good. It's very efficient and it's not so much expensive as well. So there are free tram zones also. So I think it's really easy to explore the city.
So is your campus located inside the city or is it like in
Yeah,
the suburbs
in the city.
in the city?
Yes.
So if there are no more questions, then Manisha, you can.
Sure. Tanveen, Dishita wishes you all the best and thanks you for sharing your experience. So
Thank
if
you all
there's
for
no
being
more
here.
questions, yeah, I would like to thank you as well from all of us. Thank you for making time and answering all these questions. Navya Agarwal also says thanks a lot. It's been really informative and wish you all the best. All right, Tanveen?
Thanks a lot.
All right. Take care. Thank you so much.
Take
You.
See you, Tanveen.
Thank you,
Yeah,
everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.